Well, howdy, and welcome back to the Withlacoochee River Railroad, and let's see what we got here. I finally got that old Pennsy engine running, that old Pennsy F7, and the next one I'll be working on is going to be this one right here. And so welcome back once again to obviously your favorite model train show on the net, on the tube of you. Okay, it's my favorite, but what can I say? Anyway, I've been wanting to get that old F unit. Now it needs traction tires, and that's something I ain't got any of, is traction tires. The Western Pacific unit has traction tires. The Pennsylvania unit, it does not have any. Not only does it not have traction tires to speak of, it has no weight to it, and neither does this Western Pacific unit. You got to remember, these were made in sets of usually 3-unit sets, all axles powered, which meant all the units were powered. But the 3 units would run on one E unit. And so you had basically a mothership, which was the lead unit. Then they would often include a B unit. And for, this was like in the 1990s, 1998, 1999. And they were charging $500 for that whole set then. That's about what they charge for one unit now if you get it from Lionel. It's sad that K-Line isn't around anymore, because they and Williams, I know Williams is owned by Bachmann now. Unfortunately, Bachmann has done everything they could to destroy Williams. And don't get me wrong, Bachmann has put out some good stuff through their Williams line, but they don't put out very much. It's like it's almost an afterthought for them, because they're so concentrated on HO and then N-scale. So, but let's get through the intro, and we'll come back and see what we can do on this Western Pacific. Now, as you saw with the Pennsylvania unit there, and I like my Pennsylvania engine. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on it. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on this Western Pacific unit. But what both me and the seller didn't realize at the time was, it does not have an E unit in it, and therefore has no way of actually running on its own. Yes, I've already taken the shell off. So what? Because of that, we didn't realize, and until I started doing some research on these, I didn't realize that these were sold in ABA sets with all units powered. And I think, well, you know, that wasn't a bad idea. It was not really a great price for the day, but wasn't a bad idea. Now I have a little better understanding of what's basically under the hood here. You have like 4 wires coming up from each truck. And each one of those, the red wire comes in off of the pickup rollers. So that's your hot wire. Your black wires come in off the ground strap that runs in the trucks. And then the blue and yellow wires come in off of the motors, as you can see. The motors are mounted sideways here. You know, when you look at it, they're not bad looking. That's not really a bad idea. Imagine the room that you have inside your locomotive here to be able to put in things like an interior, like a cab interior and things like that. That's great. And it's the same way on the, because that one's also a K-line, that Pennsylvania unit. I could put a cab interior in here, and I'm certainly considering it. I'm certainly considering it. Now, this unit is all box stock, has good, it doesn't have a lot of mileage on it, but it has some. You can see that there has been some running on it. And it does have traction tires. There's 4 traction tires, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Not bad, not bad. So let's see what we can do here. Now, because it's an intact unit, I almost really hate to undo it. But at the same time, I also have to take into consideration, I want this engine running. And I don't know how long it's going to take the guy who sold me this engine to find the other 2 units, if he hasn't already sold them. He may have already sold them to someone else, and he, just happened to find this. You got to realize this guy's got a whole storage thing, a good sized one, full of nothing but his dad's old trains. And to be honest with you, I've gotten an awful lot of my rolling stock from him. Well, this engine from him, plus a couple of other things. He's been a great source of supply for me. He's local to me, so I imagine if I really wanted to see his storage unit, he'd show it to me. If I had the kind of money it would take to purchase from him that entire storage unit, I would probably do it and then start putting the stuff up for sale myself. Put a lot of it up for sale myself. Because good grief, I could be fully restocked with my O-gauge stuff. Not only have some stuff for myself, obviously, but have a bunch to sell off as well. Now, as I said, this red wire here is coming from the light, and it goes in with the regular red wires. The light otherwise is grounded to the frame. This black wire, you got one coming up from each truck. The black wires go to a phosphor bronze strip that is down in the truck. But it's there. And I could pull it all apart and show it to you, but I don't feel like doing that. Because there's really no reason for you to actually undo the trucks unless you got to do something to the motor. So we know where the red wires go, coming off of the trucks and off of the light. We know where the black wires go coming off of the trucks. And we know that the you've got a yellow wire coming off of each one terminal of each motor, and you've got a blue wire coming off of the terminal of each motor. And all we really need to do, let's see here. Yeah, we're going to have enough wire if we nip these just right. By the way, I want to take and welcome you all back. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, we do have a ground here for the light. Okay, there is a ground wire for the light. Maybe it is insulated from the frame. That's all right. We'll take and we'll tie that in as well. So I didn't realize there was another black wire going to the light. And now I know where it goes, because there was one that came loose over there on the other F unit as well. I haven't had a headlight since. So, what we're going to do is come in here. And you know what I'd really rather do, rather than use this old light bulb? I'd really rather tie in the lights. I'd really rather, and I don't know what they got these wires going in. I don't know if they've got some kind of LEDs in there or something. Flashing LEDs of some kind or something of that nature. But they do have wires going in there. There is a circuit board up in here. I'm not going to remove that because someday I may want to put it back the way it is. Now, if I ever get the other two units, then I can at least put it all back together, if you get my drift. So, the one thing we need in order to make this engine operate is one of these. Bridge rectifier. Now these things can be a royal pain in the butt when they're moving around and you're trying to... Now you got to notice that you've got the wires coming off of this rear truck here are not real long wires. These wires are long, coming off of this truck and off of the light bulb. So we want to cut these wires as close as possible to this little circuit board here, which this little circuit board is just a printed board. It's one that's everything. It's like a junction box. So, yeah, I know. Here goes. Yeah. Figures, huh? One's got to be a problem. Yeah. Oh, why can't I have cutters that do what they're supposed to? I probably do, but they're used for another purpose. All right, there we go. We got that one. There's your red wire off the rear truck. The yellow wire off the rear truck. Like I said, we got to have as much of these wires as we can possibly work with. Blue wire off the rear truck. And the black wire off the rear truck. These, okay. Now we need these two red wires right here. One's off the light and one's off of the front truck. But we need them both. So let's go ahead and get that blue wire out of the way. Alrighty. Get this this yellow wire. All right. The black wire, which that black wire was off of the light. So that's your ground wire. Now this one, this is the one off the truck. It's all right, they'll go together, so it's not like it's a big deal. And then both of these red wires. All right. Now, and that black wire is right to the ground right there. See, I don't think that could be a screw there, so let's... Yeah, and it is. All right. Let's see if I can push that on through. There we go. Okay, and that piece just holds the other piece. I could have left it there, and we could have left that piece in there, but Alright. I imagine that those 4 screws there actually hold this fuel tank on, which the fuel tank also has a speaker grid in it. So, you know, if you ever wanted to like put in like Blue Nami or anything of that nature, you definitely could. Alrighty. Now we need to pull off some insulation. And that's a not so fun thing to do, because you're always afraid you're going to pull the solder joint loose on that. Oh, I needed to go to a smaller hole, smaller stripper there. Looks like I need to go to the very smallest one. There we go. Alrighty. Blue wire is stripped on the rear truck. Okay. Black wire is stripped. And the reason I'm doing that one first is because this has the shortest wires. So, okay. One thing you want to keep from doing on wires like this, and I discovered that kind of the hard way on the Penze unit, you want to keep from having to keep cutting these wires a little shorter each time. So, okay, and then the red wire. And those are a little heavier gauge wires than the yellow. All right. We got those wires stripped. All right, now these are going to be a little easier because we got a lot more wire to work with here. Same with the headlight wires. Now the headlight wire is a little bit, again, a lighter gauge. Red headlight. All righty. There we go. All right. Red. Got a yellow wire here. Well, let's get the black wire done first. Like I said, these power pickup wires are going to be a heavier gauge wire than the motor wires. So I guess I got to consider myself really lucky that I've got this this great old Harbor Freight wire strippers, cutters. All right. Now, because they are working. Okay. Now we're back to the lighter wire, and we need to go down to the very smallest stripper. Oh, no, that one actually cut the wire. And that did not make me a happy camper. We'll still be able to get them together. But still, I hate that because that makes things much tighter in there. All right, let's see here. Come on, you. Okay, finally got that. All righty, now one more wire to get, and that's this blue one. All right, we got it. You don't put the yellow to the yellow and the blue to the blue, okay? But you do put the red to the red and the black to the black. Blue goes to yellow and yellow goes to blue. That's how these things work. And the reason they work like that is because your motors down in the trucks here are horizontally opposed to each other. It's like if you take a look underneath, you'll notice you got gears on one side here and gears on the other side of the engine down here. And that's how you're going to make it work. And that's how these engines work. So, the way DC engines work, you've got to have them, you want your wheels to go one direction, either forward or backwards. You can make them go either way. But you want to have your wheels go. You want your wheels all going the same direction. Oh shoot, I must have missed this one. Okay. Got one more wire to strip. I don't know. I may have cut that one myself. I may have cut that accidentally too short too. I hate when that happens. There we go. Wow. All right. So when it comes to your DC wires, damn, that thing's, we may have to take and, anyway, may have to pull that just to get on it and stretch the wire a little bit. And when I say stretch the wire, I mean we'll take and solder a piece of wire to the wire in order to extend the wire. Because for some reason that wire just keeps busting off an awful lot of metal there. So there, we finally got some. All right. All right, now. That one's going to be a tough one to get. Let me get that off of there. All right, now we can move these out of the way a little bit. Because you see, if you put the yellow to the yellow and the blue to the blue, when you get it all connected, you're going to have your trucks going two different directions. And that's not something you want. You don't want that to happen. Alrighty. Okay. And you take and put this blue to the other yellow. Now, if all you were going to do was run it on DC, you could do it that way. And you just wire everything straight up. Come on, you. Oh. Gosh, my fingers. I got 88 thumbs here. No fingers. There just isn't enough wire really coming off of that rear truck. I know. It was efficient at the time, right? Is that what they tell you? Okay. We hooked together all our red wires. Now these are a little bit more stiffer wires, a little bit heavier wires, except for the okay, and all of the black wires go together. Okay. How in the heck did I miss that? May need to pull off a little more of that one. Come on. Well, it gets harder and harder in here because now I've already lost a red wire off of the loop there. I got the headlight hooked up though. Yeah, let's get that on there. If I can get it on there, I think I can. Okay. Yeah, without grabbing the other one. All right, come on out of there. Let's get you taken care of here. Now I know I'm a little sloppy on this, but all right, come on now. Alrighty. Now we can test it out again. Yep. Everything's going the right direction now. And we got it. We got it. Alrighty. We got it. Okay. Now we're going to test it out on the layout. Before we put the shell on. Let's turn it around here. We've got it sitting on the layout up there. We'll get a little closer. And we shall see if she goes on her own. Yes, it does. All right. Well, now we know it works. So let's put the shell back on, and let's see how it looks while it's actually running in real service, shall we? All righty. One of the things I want to do before anything else, before putting the shell on, because, you know, with all this other wire and stuff in here, because I'm not intending to take all that out just yet. You don't want anything coming down here and causing any issues here, so I've got some liquid masking tape, or liquid electrical tape, and this stuff does a pretty good job of, you just want to go over anything that's exposed right there, even on the, anything that could end up touching other metal that you don't want it to touch. You get it, and I did the same thing on the other F unit as well. I think it's probably just a good idea. We're going to give it a few minutes to actually dry, and then we've got this engine running. This engine's ready to go, and she's going to do a good job for us, isn't she? And I think it's going to look a lot better pulling the passenger train, especially since Santa Fe Railroad's a little closer to the Western Pacific than, say, the Pennsylvania is. Although, at this point, I'm just going to use both engines. So, As you can see, the liquid electrical tape is beginning to dry. It doesn't take it very long. And that's what's being used for traction tires on the Pennsylvania unit as well. In fact, I'm going to pull that one around to where I can get to the track a little easier. We'll get these two units together after I get this one put back together. Alrighty. I'm just going to leave that plug in there for right now. Like I said, if I ever decide to go back, turn the unit over. Okay, we've got this here. Got to go back on our rear stirrup steps. Got to go under the coupler. Gary, got to go under the coupler. Alrighty. By the way, it's New Year's Day today, so I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. And may it turn out to be a Happy New Year. You know, I understand there's things in the political world that have us a little concerned. As they should. Come on now. Get in there. Like you should be. Alright. It's easy to get the hood off. And sometimes not so easy to get it back on. Actually, the hood, the shell went back on pretty good this time. I've never had a problem with these F units. So, and since this is a maintenance program and we've got this engine up and running, what I want to do is put a little oil and grease on the gears and the bushings, and because I don't know how many years this thing's actually been sitting without running. But today was the first time this thing's ever run on its own without its mothership, if you will. Alrighty. Get this thing together and we'll get it on the track, and we'll have two F units pulling a passenger train with some run-through power, of course. It's pulling the Santa Fe Chief along with some Western Pacific and some Pennsylvania power. Ain't that something? Alrighty. She's together. And I believe we're off and running. Oh, would you look at that? Ain't that a sight to behold? And it's pulling that train like it's nothing. I imagine my track's dirty over that way. Remember, the Pennsylvania unit has no traction tires, so it's slipping its wheels coming up that hill. I guess it'd help if that wasn't falling down, huh? Alright, yeah, my battery's running low on this camera. So, until next time, happy railroading. I'm going to play with my engines for a while.